right, thank you, Brian, and welcome everyone to this August 8, 2022 meeting of the Homewood City Council. I think we're going to start tonight with a couple of presentations from the mayor.
Thank you so much. We'll have Judith Wright come up first, if that's okay. This is a proclamation for Judith's award for the Outstanding Youth Services Award for 2022 from the Alabama Library Association Annual Convention. And strangely enough, we had our budget meeting this morning, and Judith was really worried that it was going to be very awkward for us standing here tonight if I slashed budget completely and then handed her an award in the same day. So as you can see, we're both still here, so meeting went well. But I will read this proclamation, and then I believe Jennifer's probably going to be taking pictures as usual. So, whereas Judith Wright began her City of Homewood employment as a teen librarian in 2014, and whereas Judith Wright expanded the teen program from 1 to 2 events a month to over a dozen events ranging from ACT prep to self-defense classes to anime clubs to sushi making. And whereas Judith Wright not only selected materials for teen programs, she secured a NASA at My Library grant to expand the STEM programming, along with the Great Stories Club grant from the American Library Association to offer a book club for minority female students at Homewood High School. And whereas Judith Wright was presented with the Outstanding Youth Services Award at the 2022 Alabama Library Association Annual Convention, and whereas this award is presented to a children's, teens, school librarian, or paralibrarian who has gone above and beyond in providing patrons with an innovative, creative, and diverse library program that supports patron learning and growth. And now, therefore, I, Patrick McCluskey, Mayor of the City of Homewood, Alabama, do hereby express my sincere appreciation and congratulations to Judith Wright for her contributions to the city and highly commend her for the manner in which she had carried out her responsibilities as a member of the city staff. So there you go. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Mr. President, if I may, I have one more for Miss Debbie Fout. I'm sure you all remember Debbie. This is another just quick funny anecdote. This is probably the 4th time she has heard this particular proclamation, simply because the library board, along with the State Library Association and myself, all gave her basically the same proclamation, and we all read them to their extent at her retirement party. So this is really the 4th time she's heard this.
She's worth it, though. She was a great librarian.
I was about to say this. It must be hard to know how awesome you are and hear it 4 times.
Well, I've got them framed, and I have an office at home, and it looks like a shrine to myself.
Well, the only way we run the award at the float was because you retired. So thank you.
Well, so I will read this once again, and then you can have this copy as well. So whereas Deborah Fout has announced her plans to retire effective May 1st, 2022, and is being honored by friends and coworkers who are deeply appreciative of her friendship and of her contribution to the city during the years. And whereas Deborah Fout has dedicated 36 years of service to the citizens of Homewood, she has always been a mentor to many employees and has always been known as fair and honest. Whereas Deborah Fout's countless skills and talents were recognized early on in her Homewood career. She started in the circulation department, was promoted to executive secretary in 1987, promoted to administrative assistant in 1988, promoted to assistant director in 1996, and hired as library director in 2009. And whereas since her appointment as director, Deborah Fout has applied for and received over $500,000 in grant funding for projects that improve the Homewood Public Library and library service for the community. Whereas Deborah Fout was awarded the highest honor from the Alabama Library Association, the Imminent Librarian Award. This award is presented to a librarian or individual who has made an exceptional and enduring contribution toward the development of library services within Alabama. And whereas Deborah Fout has been influential in securing 1 3-star national award, 4 4-star national awards, and 1 5-star national award for public library service. Homewood Library is also the first and only library in the state to receive 2 Gold Star National Awards for public library service. And whereas Deborah Fout has served as a membership chair for the Alabama Library Association, the Jefferson County Library Association president, and the chair of the Jefferson County Library Cooperative Directors, as well as serving as the driving force behind the Public Library Division Conference for the Alabama Library Association. Whereas Deborah Fout is also the recipient of the first ever Employee of the Year Award from the City of Homewood in 1997. Now therefore I, Patrick McCluskey, Mayor of the City of Homewood, Alabama, do hereby express my sincere appreciation and thanks once again to Deborah Fout for her contributions to the city, and highly commend her for the manner in which she has carried out her responsibilities as a member of the city staff. So this is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You want to take a picture real quick? And then I'll give you a few minutes if you want to take one. You have the mic.
I just want to say I appreciate this so much. My career up here was wonderful. It was really my life instead of my career, because the library was my life. The first week of retirement was rough, but I'm really enjoying it now. And I realize how tired I really was now that I'm able to get a little more sleep and a little more rest. But yeah, retirement's great, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm having a lot of fun. But thank you so much for this, because I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, I will go ahead and call this meeting to order, and we are going to start with an invocation from Michael Ent of Raleigh Avenue Baptist Church, and that'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone will please stand.
Mayor McCluskey, distinguished council members, I know this is not time for a sermon, but I have to at least say thank you for the honor of leading us in prayer this evening. It's an honor to be here. I left here as a college kid, graduated from Homewood High School, graduated from Sanford, and then have been gone West Coast for 25, 30 years, and I'm back. Have always been honored to say that I'm from Homewood, Alabama. Glad to be back. Thank you for the opportunity. Let's pray together. Gracious God, you know how to give good gifts, and the way you have blessed this town suggests that you make true on those promises every day. Thank you for the progress that this city has made over the last however many years it's been in existence. What a thrill, what an opportunity we see unfolding before our eyes as we see the leadership in this room ordering their lives around serving their neighbors. What an honor it is that we would get to be together and to press into your knowledge, your understanding, and ultimately your wisdom. And I pray that you would grant all of that to this body of servants, and thank you for so many across this amazing city that, again, have ordered their lives around serving their neighbors. But Lord, I just pray that as we do that, we do that in such a way that brings you glory, not just because we want to look good, but Lord, we have been transformed ultimately by the power of your Son Jesus. And we pray now to him who is able to do above and beyond all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. To him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus to all generations forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right. Ms. Salter, if you'll please call roll.
Yes, sir. Counselor Gwaltney.
Here.
Counselor Gear.
Here.
Counselor Allamon.
Here.
Counselor Wolverton. Counselor Sims.
Here.
Counselor Jones.
Here.
Counselor Smith. Here. Counselor Nelms.
Here.
Counselor Andrus.
Here.
Counselor Harden.
Here.
And President Went.
Here.
You got one absent, which got a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we have the reading of the minutes from our council meeting of July 25th, 2022. Those were distributed earlier by Ms. Salter. I would entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of said minutes and for approval of the same.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Smith, second by Ms. Nelms. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is 10-0. Next, we have board vacancies. We did have one position that closed this week. It was for the Historic Preservation Committee at-large position. We have 2 applicants for that, and so I guess, Ms. Smith, we're going to do interviews?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
And I know one just interviewed.
yes.
So
One has
I don't know
already
exactly.
interviewed.
She's,
But she has graciously agreed to come back
got
if we
it.
need her
Okay.
to.
All right. And do you want to work on a time to set those up, or do you know when you want to do it right now? You don't have to do it.
I'll get with you after.
That's fine.
I'll get with Melody.
Okay. That works.
TBD, to be determined.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. Next, we have one addition to the agenda tonight. It'll be to the committee referral agenda. This item will go to public safety. It is 080822, request to set a public hearing and referral to the Public Safety Committee for consideration for condemnation of the structure at 2562 18th Street South, brought to us by Wyatt Pugh. All right, so with that addition, I would entertain a motion and a second for approval of the amended agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gwaltney, second by Ms. Andrus. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is approved 10-0. Which brings us to the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Andrus, second by Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is also approved 10-0. Which brings us to old business. First item 050522, request to set a public hearing for vacation of right-of-way of 16th Street adjacent to 2901 Central Avenue, brought to us by Lee and Chelsea Maniscalco and Wyatt Pugh. We're going to carry that item over again while we keep going through that whole process. Next item 100522, public hearing set for September 12, 2022 at 6 p.m. to consider annexation into the city of Homewood for 314 Happy Lane, brought to us by Ketchum Properties and Melody Salter and Robert Burgett. We will carry that item over for the public hearing on September 12th. Next item, 060622, public hearing set for tonight to consider amending the city's zoning ordinance to include the fence ordinance, brought to us by Councilor Andrus and Cale Smith. I guess we'll go ahead and do a report, Ms. Andrus, and then I'll explain what's going on.
Sure. The committee voted 5-0 to refer this item back to the full council without recommendation pending the public hearing. The motion was made by Councilor Nelms and seconded by Councilor Gwaltney.
All right, thank you. What's happened here is we had this public hearing set, but then there was some concern about getting some comments from the BZA where fence variances would be going. The BZA has not had a chance to do that yet. So I'm going to go ahead and have the public hearing tonight because it's already been noticed, but then after that, after I close that public hearing, we're going to send it back to P&D to wait for those comments, consider them, make any changes if necessary. If not, that's fine too. And then we will probably start this whole process over with another public hearing at some point in the future. So with that, I will open the public hearing, ask if there's anyone to speak for or against this item. Seeing that no one's getting up, I will then close the public hearing, and then we will send this item back to Planning and Development Committee. All right. Next item, 230622, public hearings that was started on July 11, 2022 to consider declaring the property located at 464 Cornelius Drive a public nuisance due to a violation of ordinances 1910 and 1750 excessive growth, brought to us by Scott Cook, who is already up at the podium. This is an item where we've already opened and closed the public hearing, so I think we're just getting an update from you, Mr. Cook.
Oh, yes, I hope Brian has got there we go. That's where he mowed the front yard the first time, and still have some issues in the back. I can go to the next one. As you can see, still have some issues back there. I have spoken to the property owner twice. He's having a problem getting the fellow who came the first time, getting him back out there to finish. I think we have one more picture. No, maybe not. Okay, so yeah, he's aware that tonight's
Okay.
deadline.
And just from looking at these pictures, it doesn't, just based on my memory, so
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't look like a whole lot's happened in the past 2 weeks, even though.
That's correct. Actually,
Something
nothing's
happened
happened
before
in the
then,
4 weeks, yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
since the initial work, nothing
Nothing's
new has
been done.
happened.
Correct.
Okay.
Can
All
I
right.
ask a question?
Yes.
Mr. Cook, what is that? Does that look like an old refrigerator?
Yes, I talked to him about that, refrigerator and some, building material out there that he's gonna get addressed as well.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so Scott, what is your recommendation here? Do you,
Go ahead and declare it a public nuisance.
okay. Okay, then I would make that motion.
All right, motion from Ms. Smith, second from Mr. Alamon. Any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is 10-0 and will be Resolution 22-125.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. All right, next item, 120722, public hearing set for tonight for consideration of a sign variance at 1831 28th Avenue South, Suite 175, brought to us by Taylor Hughes of Social Taco and Wyatt Pugh. And we'll start with a report from Special Issues, Ms. Smith.
Yes, committee voted 5-0 to refer this item back out to the full council without recommendation pending the public hearing tonight. Motion was made by Ms. Andrus and seconded by Ms. Gear.
All right, thank you very much. So with that, I will go ahead and open this public hearing. And I think come on up.
How's it going, guys?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, fantastic.
And I think we all know who you are, but for the record, if you will, just to give for the people watching at home, give us your name.
Name is Taylor Hughes, one of the owners of Social, So Standard, and Social Taco, coming soon, which is why we're here. So yeah, we are looking at sign variance for our awnings. Going up in the new spot, we'll have 3 total new ones. Pretty much just trying to match what we have across the street over there at Soho Social. So this will be one kind of on the far left side, closest to Results Physiotherapy. Again, I believe the ordinance was 16 inches, so asking for a variance there to get up to about 36 inches, really just to be legible. It is our only signs that we have. There's not going to be a freestanding or a lit sign or anything like that. So yeah, that's one of them right there. And I believe, yeah, so here's the other one. You know, the text again, going from 16 to 24 and a half almost there to a little over 20 inches, gives it to a total of 48. That sign would be above the front door, main entrance of the restaurant. Again, same idea, just trying to make sure people can see us as they enter the plaza, driving by, with this being our only signs. And then there is one more, I believe, that actually fits the current ordinance, but the sizing of it basically matches the sizing of that second image that you just saw.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions or comments?
And Wyatt, I think you explained this in our committee meeting, but I'll just, there's not a limit for number on signs on awnings.
That's correct.
So the number is not an issue here. It is simply the size of the lettering on the awnings.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let me just make sure. Is there anyone else here to speak for or against this item? Not, then I'll close the public hearing. Any other questions or comments from council? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Except for Mr. Alamon's comment that there shouldn't be an accent mark above the O. With the exception of that.
Look, man, I speak Spanish.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's
that
just- that's
sound
no bueno. That's
doesn't
no
make a
bueno.
Yeah,
See, we put it on the N on that one. Yeah. But yeah, our Tilde's hanging out. He, on Social and Standard, on the O's, we've got just a flat line, so we figured we'd at least let people know, hey, we're going for a Mexican concept here.
I think Taco does that as well.
Be sure to pass that to our graphic design artist, make sure they've.
So with the exception of that, I would make a motion to approve the requests.
Second.
All right, we got a motion for Ms. Smith, a second, was that for Ms. Nelms? Yes. For Ms. Nelms. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is 10-0 and will be resolution
Thank you, guys.
22-126. Thanks, Taylor. All right, next item, 130722, public hearing set for tonight for consideration of sign variance at 333 Green Springs Highway, brought to us by Brenda Daniel of Daniel Signs and Chase Bank and Wyatt Pugh. And we'll start with another report from Special Issues, Ms. Smith.
The committee met last week and voted 5-0 to refer this item back out to the full council without recommendation pending the public hearing tonight. Motion was made by Ms. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Sims.
All right, thank you very much. So with that, I will open the public hearing on this matter.
Yes, I'm Wes Daniel Signs, and the Chase Bank, they would like 2 signs, one on the Green Springs and one on the Palisades. And this is the one on the Palisades, that would be the additional signage.
So, Mr. Pugh, we've got a location variance and a number variance here. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Anyone else here to speak for or against this item? Not, then I'll close the public hearing and ask if there are any questions or comments from council.
Mr. Daniel, can you remind me, I think I remember this from last week, the letters are illuminated, correct?
They are,
Internal
yes,
internal
ma'am.
illumination. Okay, thank you. And when we're addressing the sign, if we address the sign ordinance, is there anything in the sign ordinance about buildings that are on a corner lot, kind of like a fence? Is that anything that exists?
No, they require a variance.
All right, so maybe that's something we could think about. Okay. In that case, I would make a motion to approve the requested variances.
Second.
All right, motion from Ms. Smith, second from Ms. Andrus. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is also 10-0 and will be 22-127. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
Oh, thank y'all very much.
All right, next item, 140722, public hearing set for tonight for consideration of a sign variance at 1722 27th Court South, brought to us by Dogtopia and Wyatt Pugh, and another report from Special Issues, Ms. Smith.
Same song. Committee met last week, voted 5-0 to refer this item out to the full council without recommendation pending the public hearing. Motion was made by Ms. Andrus, seconded by Mr. Alaman.
All right, thank you very much, and I will open the public hearing on this matter.
All right, I'm Carlton Millsap. This is my brother Henson. We are co-owners of Dogtopia. This is the first Dogtopia in the state of Alabama. We're hoping this is the first of many in Birmingham, but we see this as sort of our flagship store. We're thrilled to be in Homewood, right here on 27th Court South, right next to Cahaba Cycles. Love everything about the location, but if there's one challenge, I'd say it's there's no natural visibility of our storefront from a major road. So if you look from, I think the clearest view is probably from 28th Street, and that's about 240 feet from that road to our storefront. And so we spoke with our neighboring tenant, Cahaba Cycles, and spoke with Ferris Malky, and he explained sort of the process he went through with his sign. And so what we're requesting today is a similar size, slightly smaller than theirs. It's a 45-inch sign, and then for the awning, we're requesting a 36-inch Dogtopia logo, which is just a D. So if you go to, I think it's page 3 of the slides. Yeah, go to page 3 if you can.
Just kind of guide me.
Yeah, okay, so this,
Just say if it's that one.
so go previous slide, or so bottom right's 4. So go one previous. Or sorry, go back to that one. That works.
Are you wanting the awning sign?
I was going to show what we're requesting basically together: the sign and the awning. So this works. So there you go.
That's it.
Okay. So that's the size sign and the size awning that we're requesting.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone else here to speak for or against this item? Not, then I'll close the public hearing and ask for questions or comments from council.
Sorry, I'm asking the same questions, but just so y'all can remind everybody. I know the awning signs, obviously the logo's printed on the awning, but the sign, is it painted on the wall, or is it,
It's channel letters.
channel letters, and are they illuminated?
They are not.
They are not, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That is what I wanted.
I have a question for Mr. Pugh, and I want to preface my question by saying that I'm not going to take this out on these business owners, but I do have a question about the status of the pole sign at that development that we asked to come down 2 months ago now. That has not come down yet. I'm not holding anything against you two at all, but in the same development, there is a pole sign that is against our ordinance that they have been told to bring down at the beginning of June. It is now August 8th, and it's still in place.
I'm currently experiencing radio silence and trying to get a status update on that. I don't know if Mr. Coker's out of town or out of the
He's not.
country.
I saw him at the
Or if he's
pig this
ignoring
weekend.
me.
Did you ask him when you saw him at the pig,
I
when that
did
pole
not.
sign's coming down? 'Cause-
I did not.
Yeah, you could make this contingent upon that sign coming down.
Well, I don't wanna take.
But he's the landlord, so that's the quickest way to get it resolved. I mean, if you want action,
I don't wanna punish these
so
guys.
then it puts them potentially in breach of contract, or him in breach of contract with them, because they can't open their business because of his actions.
I can't
Just
do
saying.
that to these guys.
I'll make that motion.
I can't make that motion. I don't wanna punish these guys, but I really want that pole sign to come down. Like, that is, I mean, how do we make that happen? Cause
Well,
he was told June.
I know, and short of Andy's option, I think we'll talk about that, but unless it's connected to this, unless we're connecting it to this issue, I think we need to deal with this issue first, and then we can figure out what.
Yeah, he would not be in breach of our lease if he leases. We have no control over that whatsoever, so, and we can certainly ask him to bring it down, but.
The problem is all these sign variances are given to the owners of the property. Because you don't own the property. You just have a leasehold, which is whatever the lease says. So it's the owner of the property that controls all of the sign variances.
Right. It's not given to the business owner, it's given to the landowner. Yeah, Mr. Jones.
I mean, in light of that, we can make it contingent upon the other one coming down. If it's
Correct.
going to the owner, that would be my recommendation. Is to make this, if we approve this, make it contingent upon getting the pole sign down as we requested him to do.
Well, as he's required to do.
Required to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, required to do. That's my thought about it.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I think that it's a little unfair to these business owners to bring that up at this late time. That would be my only comment. I think it's a separate issue, and we need to address that with Mr. Coker. And he needs to give us a date as to when this pole sign will come down separately from this issue. That would be my preference.
Yeah, Mr. Jones.
My only response is, I mean, he's not in
He had a
compliance now. He's not done what was required of him. So to add another variance and allow another variance without addressing that from the owner, I think is not correct on our part. I mean, I think it has to be addressed, because we're gonna continue to offer sign variances when one has not been taken care of, so.
Well, and despite what I said earlier, maybe this is the question to ask. Mr. Kendrick, what are our remedies separate from making this variance contingent upon it if he does not take down that sign?
He can be arrested or sued. He's in violation of the sign.
Sure.
That's correct.
I would,
That's a criminal violation.
I would just add, that pole sign serves no benefit to us. It doesn't matter to us if it comes down or not, but the sign that we're asking you for today really does, we think, make a big difference for our business. We want to see the store do really well in Homewood, so I would just relay that and express, this is very important, it means a lot to us, so we appreciate that consideration.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Counselor, I just want to go back and kind of talk about things in respect of the way these are tied together right now, because now they are. What is your time frame for doing this project with the signs and opening your business? Just so we can kind of think about what, the other
So business
variable
opening
is.
is planned for mid-October. We should have our cert of occupancy by late September. So as soon as we give our sign vendor the go-ahead, they're gonna start producing the sign. So realistically, if we don't have certainty after tonight, we've got to just kind of sit there in limbo and possibly not have a sign when we open up.
Well, just to build on that, then my question would be, and I'm just, don't really for asking this, is it something that we could carry this over?
Well, I was actually about to say the same thing. So one possible compromise is that we can carry the item over for 2 weeks.
Right.
Which would then allow you, if you wanted to, and certainly the city, to explain to the landowner that this was the holdup, that he has to get in compliance before he can get any other variances, and that, but then that would allow us in 2 weeks, assuming that he did what he wanted to do, or did what, you know, he's supposed to have already done, to then immediately approve the variance at that time. Mr. Jones, do you have a
Now, I
comment?
was gonna respond to one thing you said. It's not that you can't order a sign, that you're asking for something that's out of our ordinance. So you can order a sign that's within the guidelines that we've established. So I want to make that clear. We're not
I understand.
stopping
We
you
can
from-
certainly order the smaller sign.
Yeah, I
yes,
mean,
sir.
we
I just realistically, we want the larger sign, and so we're gonna, like, if we wanna move ahead and have a sign when we open, not knowing whether it's gonna be approved, we just have to go ahead and order the smaller sign.
Got it, okay.
I think carrying it over and having a conversation with Mr. Coker and letting him know that his lack of compliance at the property is causing y'all an issue, who are his tenants, who are opening a new business in the city of Homewood, and that his lack of compliance is causing y'all a issue. And then that way, we could get y'all approved in 2 weeks at the
And-
August, no, 15th, 22nd? 22nd.
And I would say this, we're not just gonna rely on y'all. We would, as the city, push as well. We're not asking you to deliver our message for us. Y'all may have a message you want to deliver on your own, but we will deliver the message as well. Mr. Pugh, I'm sure you can handle the urgency of this message. So with that, I guess we will carry this item over and hear it again on the public hearing is already closed, so all we'll have to do is hear the item again on the 22nd.
Do we have to agree to carry it over? Because I really don't agree with doing that.
So if you object to it, then I can't carry it over without objection, no, but then I think we have to have a vote on it, but if you object.
I feel like we're asking these business owners to handle our problem, which is not getting Mr. Coker to take his sign down. So if everybody disagrees with me, that's fine, but I prefer to give them their variance, which it sounds like we're leaning toward anyway, and this other issue, in my opinion, is separate. So that's the way I feel about it.
Okay, so then we would vote to carry this item over. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Hang on. Any
Jump the gun
opposed?
there, John.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, and an abstention. So then that is eight to 1 to 1. So we will carry this item over till the 22nd. All right, next item, 150722, public hearing set for November 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. for consideration of annexation of Board of Education property into the city of Homewood, brought to us by Robert Brigette and Melody Salter. And Ms. Andrews, do you have a report on this? Did
I
y'all
do.
send this out? Okay.
I do.
I'll get a report from you first.
After hearing from representatives from LBYD, the committee voted 3-0 to refer this item back to the full council without recommendation pending the public hearing. The motion was made by Counselor Sims and seconded by Counselor Wolverton.
All right, thank you very much. So then we will carry this item over for the public hearing set on November 14th. Next item, 250417, request for consideration of 18th Street revitalization project, brought to us by Councilor Gwaltney, and we'll start with a report from Finance. Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met on August the 1st, and after hearing from our representative from GMC, the committee voted 4-0 to recommend approval of a change order, which is a deduction in the amount of $9,368.58. So 4-0 coming out of Finance.
All right, so we have a motion from Finance. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is 10-0 and will be resolution 22-128. All right, next item, 060722, request to declare the following item surplus. 2016 Tahoe, last four on the VIN is 8469, and a 2020 Harley Davidson Road King, last four on the VIN on that one is 9581, brought to us by Gordon James and Chief Ross. And another report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The committee voted 4-0 to recommend approval of this item.
All right, thank you. Mr. Kendrick, if you'll give us a first reading.
Yes, yes, sir. It's an order to declare certain personal property and equipment as surplus, hereby established and declared the following described personal property of the city is no longer needed for public or municipal purposes. It's declared as 2016 Chevrolet Tahoe, as the president has indicated, VIN number ending 8469, and a 2020 Harley Davidson Road King, VIN number ending 9581. Section 2, the mayor be and is hereby authorized and directed to dispose of the property described in Section 1 by conveyance to Travelers Insurance as a part of a pending claim on the city's current insurance policy.
All right, thank you very much. I would entertain a motion and a second for unanimous consent.
So moved.
Motion for Mr. Harden, second for Ms. Smith, and a roll call vote, please, Ms. Salter.
Was Harden Smith?
Yes.
Okay. Counselor Gwaltney?
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Gear?
Yes.
Counselor Allamon? Counselor Sims?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Smith?
Yes.
Counselor Nelms?
Yes.
Counselor Andrus?
Yes.
Counselor Harden?
Yes.
President White?
Yes. All right, so with that, I'd entertain a motion and a second for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Smith, second by Mr. Gwaltney. And another roll call vote, please, Ms. Salter.
Counselor Gwaltney?
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Gear?
Yes.
Counselor Allamon?
Yes.
Counselor Sims?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Smith?
Yes.
Counselor Nelms?
Yes.
Counselor Andrus?
Yes.
Counselor Harden?
Yes.
President White?
Yes, and so that passes 10-0 and will be ordinance 2846. Next item, 070722, request for consideration of budget amendments brought to us by Robert Burgett and Melody Salter, and another report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The committee voted 4-0 to recommend approval of this item.
All right, so we have a motion from Finance. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is 10-0 and will be resolution 22-129.
I do have, I'm sorry. I do have a quick
You
question.
do?
Didn't we have something that we were supposed to add to that, or did it get
No, we
added
took-
already?
we
We
took
took,
out.
we took some, we took the
We took out the
Greenway because we don't have the, I'm about to address that, but we took the Greenway out.
No, no, I thought we had something we were supposed to add in for Berkeley.
No, we were
No.
sending another item to finance, I thought. Were we supposed to add something else?
I saw something from Robert that said something about adding it from the floor. I'm
Okay.
I thought
sorry.
that was from another department, but I think it was gonna be sent to committee, but we need to double check Robert. I mean,
Isn't that the one under new business? There's
Um,
one under new business that.
It was a transfer that Berkeley needed. It said, do you want to see if this can be added on the floor with the pending budget amendments going before the council Monday night? Berkeley said, yes, that would be great. And Alex said that was fine with me.
So I think we have that under 040822,
okay.
maybe? No?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Committee
Let's
referral.
figure it out.
Sorry.
No, no,
It's okay.
that's referral.
So he needs a transfer for Parks and Recreation. The 2 main units of the AC at the rec center are going down, and he needs $44,000 to have them worked on, and asked for the transfer to be made from the line items.
So let's do this.
Okay?
Rather than that being added just as a budget amendment.
You want me to make a motion from the
yeah,
floor?
I want you to make a motion for a new item on
Okay.
other new business for
Get
that
Mr.
that will.
Burgett to make sure we have.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got the line items right here.
Well, we have a budget that's coming back next Monday, and I suppose we're just gonna put them on next month to the
Oh,
finance committee.
Okay, I
Before
thought you said
finance
you,
committee.
okay, well, the email just said make a motion from the floor for Monday night.
We did discuss that, but we intentionally didn't, because we have budget that's coming back Monday to finance.
She's talking about Berkeley's HVAC, though. He knows that.
Oh, the HVAC?
Yes,
Yeah.
not the other.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We, no.
All right.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve a $44,000 transfer from line item 20-510400, which is the wages line item, to 20-540100, which is building and grounds maintenance, and this is for work on the 2 main AC units at the Central Rec Center.
All right, so just to make sure, depending on how Mr. Jones wants to handle this, do you want that, is that an amendment of the item we already have, or is that
Yeah,
a
I
new
think we
item?
should just make a motion to amend that and include that in our 4 items that we had.
Okay,
All right, so we've got a motion to amend to, I guess, reconsider 070722. which are the budget amendments. So let's vote on that first. We're going to this is a vote to reconsider that vote that we just took.
And I'm sorry, I didn't get there until after we.
That's okay. So it's resolution 22-129. All in favor of reconsidering that vote?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that's 10-0, and now we've gotten back to the item, and now you have made a motion to amend that item, correct?
Yes, for the
All right.
$44,000 transfer from those two line items.
So, do we have a second to
Second.
amend that item? We have a second from Mr. Jones.
And just a quick comment on that. So I appreciate Berkeley always looking, this is not new money, this is a transfer. So just want to make that clear.
I want to make sure I read the
This is a
resolution. We're taking it
transfer.
from wages to
From
building
wages to
maintenance.
building and grounds maintenance.
Yes.
Taking it from wages to building ground maintenance,
Correct.
44,000.
Yes, $44,000.
Remember, he mentioned fertilizer.
Yes, I don't know about fertilizer, but I just saved him as AC units, so.
Got it, okay. So,
All right, so now we've got the vote on the amended item 070722. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that is 10-0, and so it'll still be 22-129?
22-129.
Got it, okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Smith, appreciate you catching that.
Sorry if we missed that off. Yeah, no problem. We had some budget meetings today, so maybe we'll look at that. That's my excuse.
All right, next item, 080722, request for consideration of Shades Creek Greenway Phase 2, brought to us by Cale Smith. This item is, well, we'll go ahead and get a report from finance before I carry it.
yes, sir, if you thought the last item was challenging. So the committee did meet, Mr. President, and voted 4-0 to recommend accepting the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Chilton Contractor, and allow the mayor to provide funding and sign it. So that's a report from finance, but I think
We're going to carry this item
Carry it
over. We
over.
have not actually gotten the invoice from the state
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
So we can't actually do anything anyway. So we'll carry this item over for our next meeting.
Thank you.
All right, 090722, bid date set for September 12th, 2022 at 4 PM for Mecca Avenue sidewalks, brought to us by Cale Smith. And Mr. Jones, do you have a report on that one as well?
Yes, sir. We voted 4-0 to set the bid date for September 12th at 4.
All right.
We should have put the date on there. We're supposed to wait on his report, but anyway.
Okay.
We jumped the gun a little bit.
That's okay. All right, so we've set that bid date for September 12th, 2022 at 4 PM. Next item, 100722, bid date, request to set a bid date for September 12th, 2022 at 4:10 PM for Delcris Drive sidewalks, also brought to us by Cale Smith, and another report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Finance Committee voted 4-0 on this also. These are due by 4, but then we're opening at 4:10 for this one as a recommendation.
All right, so we will set that bid date for September 12th, 2022 at 4:10 PM. Next item, 110722, request to set a bid date of September 12th, 2022 at 4:20 PM for Huntington Stormwater Culvert Replacement, also brought to us by Cale Smith, and another report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, same motion, 4-0 to approve the bid date opening 4:20. It'll be due at 4 PM.
All right, so we'll set that bid date for September 12th, 2022 at 4:20 PM. All right, next item, 170722, request to authorize the mayor to sign a contract for services for fiscal year 21-22 for the Bell Center for budget appropriations, brought to us by Robert Brigette and Melody Salter. And another report from Finance, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Finance Committee voted 4-0 to recommend approval of this item.
All right, so we have a motion from Finance. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is 10-0 and will be resolution 22-130. Next item, 290522, request for consideration for mile marker signage for the Lakeshore Trail, brought to us by Councilors Andrus and Berkeley Squires, and a report from Special Issues. Ms. Smith.
Yes, committee met and voted 5-0 to recommend approving this item. Motion was made by Mr. Almont and seconded by Ms. Andrus, and this is signs and things being done by the Freshwater Land Trust.
All right, so we have a motion from Special Issues. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is also 10-0 and will be Resolution 22-131, which brings us to our amended committee referral agenda. I would entertain a motion and a second for the approval of the amended committee referral agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Harden, second by Ms. Nelms. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is approved 10-0, which brings us to other new business. 060822, request to set a public hearing for consideration to remove zoning restriction PR2C, Planned Residential District, conditional from 1116 Hollywood Manor Drive. The applicant is Joseph A. Miller III of MTTR Engineers, Inc., and the owner, Rose Saris, in order to permit the construction of a single-family house. This comes to us from the Planning Commission with a vote of 7-0 with a favorable recommendation. So we will set that public hearing for September 12th, 2022 at 6 p.m. All right, so last item, 070822, request for consideration of approval of vouchers for the period of July 26, 2022 through August 8, 2022, brought to us by Robert Brigette and Melody Salter. Mr. Jones, is this still Mr. Harden?
Yes, yes, sir, it is. I yield to you.
Yes, I had a chance to review the vouchers. They were a little less than a lot of times that we were up there, but, they all looked good. And I spoke to Mr. Burgett today about a couple of questions I had, and he answered them.
All right.
And one of the things I want to make clear for the mayor and Ms. Salter was that one of the things on my list was the Iron Mountain, and I think y'all have had a meeting today about that. And, you know, we all want to figure out how to get out of that trap. And
Yes, we do.
we're working on that, so that, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Jones.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion for Mr. Jones. We have a second? Second for Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is 10-0 and resolution 22-132. All right, which brings us to the end of the agenda for tonight. Mr. Mayor?
Did you set the public hearing for the condemnation, did we? The one that we added? 8080822.
We did not.
Sorry, we missed. Wasn't that the one that we added to the referral?
It is. We added it to committee referral, and got referred to committee, but we probably,
It's this one right here that we added, where he's requested to consider condemnation.
Mr. Kendrick, do you know how, I know we're springing this on you, but
2562 18th Street South. He sent it to committee, but he's also requested.
the front of the building's falling off?
It's unsafe structure.
We have to publish it one time in a newspaper at least 10 days before the public hearing.
One time in the newspaper, 10 days.
I would say September the
Or we can wait and set the public hearing at the committee if you want to, that matter, or you want to set it tonight, it's up to you.
Well, I want to make sure we set it in time to get the notice out as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So if September 12th is, that seems, by my math, that seems to be the earliest date. I agree with Mr. Kendrick. So,
You want to set it for September?
so first of all,
It's an unsafe building, right?
it's an unsafe building.
Correct.
So with that, we would also need to amend the agenda to add that to other new business tonight so that we can set the public hearing. So if someone would be willing to make that motion for me.
I'll make it.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion from Ms. Andrus and a second from Mr. Sims for 080822 to set a public hearing on that item. We're going to set that for September 12th, 2022 at 6 p.m. To set it for a public hearing now.
Oh, okay, we just need a motion.
To amend the agenda, that was it. All right, thank you, Ms. Salter, for
Sorry,
that catch.
Okay, thanks.
All right, now, Mr. Mayor, sorry to make you wait.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you. I just have a few quick things tonight because in 2 weeks I get to take up all of your time. That is, we started our budget meetings today with all of my department heads. Thanks to Robert and Melody and their staffs for getting everything together for those meetings. I will have them finished by Friday of this week so that we can do the presentation in 2 weeks. So always the fun part of the year, getting to red line everything. But we're certainly working hard on that, and we'll be ready in 2 weeks. I want to pray for all of our students, our teachers, our faculty, everybody that's going back to school this week. Certainly our thoughts are with them. I know
plenty of people who are just starting school for the first time and plenty of people who are getting ready to finish at Homewood. So there's a wide array of people, and if somebody would say a quick prayer for Miss McCluskey's second grade class, that would be fantastic. I know she could certainly use it. The sidewalk sale last week with the chamber, they did a fantastic job. It was absolutely slammed downtown all day Saturday, not to mention the fact that Edgewood kind of, I think, jumped on the heels of it as well and had tents outside some of those businesses as well. So very, very exciting to see that. The Bell Center Tailgate Challenge is Saturday, August 27th from 11 to 2:30. If you guys are at all inclined, it's really great opportunity to go through and meet some of the Bell Center staff, as well as get to try a lot of different tailgate foods based off of whatever team or territory you are from. I'm not an LSU fan, but I will tell you their food is usually the best. So you guys get out there and do that. And then lastly, I will say that the Homewood Athletic Foundation, you should see the information start rolling through tomorrow for the new plan for the year. There will be 3 different tiers of payments that you can join for their memberships. There'll be a red one, a blue one, and then a white one. You'll see all the different details and things if you go to their website, which is www.homewoodaf.org. So if y'all check that out, you can get tickets to all the high school games. And yes, that's the best part about it, is a T-shirt that says that. So, but that's it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Gwaltney.
I will set public safety immediately following finance.
All right.
So, and otherwise, I have no comments.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gear.
Yes, the Arts Council met today, and they will be representing themselves at the Back to School Bash on Saturday, August the 27th, 4:30 to 8:30, handing out some swag and just promoting the council, and they look forward to planning a fall or winter event after that, and look forward to seeing everybody Back to School Bash. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alamont.
Yes, I just wanted to congratulate our new library director, Judith Wright, on her recognition. It's great to see Debbie Fout again, and I wanted to let everyone know that on August 20th, the library will be having its block party. It's back after 2-year hiatus, and so that's a great opportunity for the community to come out and support the library. I also wanted to mention that Ash just posted today that it's closing its doors on August 20th, Ash in West Homewood. And so that's going to be a change and a loss, huge loss for our neighborhood. So Mark and Ashley Driscoll and their 3 kids have poured into West Homewood, and we thank them for the great meals and the support. They have an arrangement to sell the business, and hopefully it's great for their family. They're focusing on that, but there'll be a huge loss to our community in terms of what they brought to it. And again, you know, always amazed by Hall Kent. My daughter met her 5th grade teacher today, and it was a great moment. They shared a love of Harry Potter, so that's always great. And so just excited, thrilled that the school year is starting once again. That's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sims.
Thank you. Just a quick reminder about the Beautification Board. There's 2 open vacancies that close on Monday, August 22nd, which is a Ward 2 role as well as an at-large role. The board actually had their August meeting today. It was a great meeting. Looking ahead, it's about time where they're going to be electing a new slate of officers. So thankful for this past year for Ben Booth, and who's chaired that committee, and others working hard. And then finally, I just want to, for Councilor Wolverton, set Public Works, because he's not here today, but I would just go ahead and set that after Public Safety. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir. Finance at 5. Thank you for that time slot. And then I just want to say thank you to Debbie Fout. You know, she really, she's one of the best department heads that I've ever worked with in finance, to where, she, you know, even if it's a minor item, she would always call me and say, do you need me there to explain this? And it would be the most basic thing. You know, she would get a grant. I was like, you don't have to come up here to get a grant, but I'd love for you to come talk about it and, you know, and we'll congratulate you. And she was just always here and always willing to help the city, and I'm gonna miss working with her. I really am, because she just was always so creative in her budget and felt bad, you know, when said, well, the roof is leaking, you know, when we worked through all these things together, but she was always such a good partner to the finance committee. So that's all I wanted to say, so that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Ms. Smith?
For the second time in a fairly recent memory, I'm considering not calling special issues. Dogtopia won't come back to the committee, right? It's gonna stay here.
It's gonna stay here.
Okay, so don't have to do that. And then there's the Maniscalco issue, but I don't know, do we need to have, is that something that we need to address next Monday, or are we still kind of working through that process?
I don't think so. I think the only thing that would happen in that is setting a public hearing, which you can't do from committee anyway, so.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
would be the next step if they decide they want to move forward.
Okay, all right, well then I am not calling special issues.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. We did have the HHPC held a meeting at the Lee Center last Thursday night to have our consultant go over the Rosedale Historic Register resurvey that was done for the west side of Rosedale. Had about, I counted, I think it was about 35 people there to hear from Caroline Swope. And she has completed her work, and now we are working to complete that final report. There's some historical prose that has to be written, which Eddie is working on, and then that will be submitted to the state of Alabama, and we will make that available to everybody either through the library or some other way, so that people can access that report when it is complete.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nelms?
Don't have anything tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Andrus?
I will set P&D to follow Public Works, and just want to wish everybody a happy start of the school year. We were up at the high school on Friday. It was great to see everybody, and Mr. Hart and I have rising seniors, so get to go down through all that again for the last time for both of us. Yep. And that's all I have tonight. So.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harden?
Yes, the babysitting service kicks in on Wednesday, called school. But I do want to, a lot of folks don't understand all that comes into this job we have. And I just want to thank everybody, because I know everybody works hard at this well-paid position that we all have. So I do want to acknowledge the council and the work that is done, a lot of it behind the scenes. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. My only comment tonight is to echo what others said about Debbie Fout. She was a fantastic library director and one that will be missed. One of my first jobs on council was to be the liaison to the library board, and you know, you go to the library, you take your kids to the library, and you just sort of take it for granted, and then you see what all goes into running a library and what all of those great employees do over there, and what they did under her leadership was nothing short of remarkable, as the awards that the mayor listed reflect. So she will definitely be missed. We appreciate her service to the city. With that, we will adjourn tonight and see everyone in a couple weeks.
Mr. President, before you adjourn, I was going to ask if you wanted to address the August and Labor Day situation that we talked about.
Oh, sure. I'll go ahead and mention this. We don't have to actually do anything. Because of Labor Day, we have 5 Mondays in August. So the last Monday of August, we will do committees and then take the week of Labor Day off and come back for our meetings on the 12th? Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, on the 12th. So thank you very much for reminding me. Yeah, so everyone plan on being here on the last Monday of
We'll just
August.
have to call, let's see.
We'll call committees
Next
at our next meeting. We'll call it, correct. All right, so with that, we're adjourned.